Hi, we are back at it in our January challenge, in our 10-minute fitness challenge for the entire month. And today's practice I'm calling super splits. It is just about a 10 to 15 minute practice, a workup to open up into the front of the hips, also the hamstrings, to really warm yourself up if splits are your goal. Now, granted, I'm going to say that you aren't just going to get your splits in 10 minutes. Usually it takes me quite a bit longer to warm up for the splits to really feel like I can let myself down into the splits. And our journey on the road to splits isn't just going to happen in 10 minutes. So keep that in mind. Only come down as low as you can today. And the goal is really to warm up to the back of the leg. So you are still going to get a huge benefit. And if splits are your goal, come back to this 10-minute flow, keep practicing, keep working on your splits, and they will come over time. Today, you may want some blocks, especially as we lower at the end and to try to attempt our splits. You can try some blocks or some books. I do have these narrower blocks, which I feel are a little harder to find, but that's if you can go a little bit lower into your splits. And when you're ready, we're going to come onto our mat and we're going to push into a downward facing dog to get started. Finding your way into your downward facing dog, pressing firmly into the mat with the hands, maybe giving the feet a little walk out if this is your first downward facing dog for the day. Let's really push back, widen out those shoulders. Take an inhale. Maybe exhale it, release through the mouth. On the next inhale, we're going to lift that left foot up to the sky. Shift forward, around the back, draw the knee into the chest. Push back, lift the left foot up into a three-legged dog. Round forward, draw the knee into the chest. Push back, lifting up with the foot. Just warming up the back body, drawing the knee in. One more time, lifting up. This time, drawing the knee in. Bringing the foot in between the hands, and then maybe widening out the stance, and we're coming into a runner's lunge. We're going to open up into the hips, bounce the hips a little bit. Before we lower that back knee down, we're just going to find some space here. I like to have a little bit of movement in my practice to kind of wake up the muscles and to get things going. When you're ready, let's lower the back knee down. Move the hands to come onto the top of the left thigh. Lift the chest slightly as we come into our low lunge. Here we are focusing on opening up the inner thighs and also into the hips, especially the front portion of that right hip at this time. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, we're going to push back into half splits. Half splits, your right hip should be over the right knee. We're going to bend the left toes so that they start to face the sky. You can have a micro bend in the left knee, but we want to drive that left heel down into the mat and try to keep the back straight as we fold forward over that left front knee. Keep the toes pointed like they're trying to point at your big nose. I didn't mean to say big nose. I meant to say big toe at your nose. There's some silliness to start out our practice right away. I think I've been recording for too long this morning, so we just have to have a little bit of silliness into it. From our half splits, we're going to shift back into that Anjaneyasana or low lunge, and then return once more back into the half splits, bringing our movement back into the practice. Once you come into the half splits, remember to keep the back long. Think about arching the low back. You're probably not getting a huge arch in the low back, but it's that intention of reaching the tailbone up towards the sky and rocking back and forth, waking up that hamstring in the left leg. On this next one, we're going to shift forward. We're going to bring that left foot to the outside of the left hand as we come into lizard. Lizard is such a great prep pose for our splits. From our lizard, we can go ahead and stay up high on the arms, or you can lower on down to the forearms. Wherever you're at, keep on breathing. The splits are a marathon and not a sprint. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience. If you try to force it, unfortunately, you could find yourself prone to injury. From our lowered lizard, we're going to start to spin out onto the outside edge of that left foot. Maybe take the left hand to the inside of the left thigh and just give a little bit of a push. Open up, allow the hips to sink even further. Keeping that turnout in the left knee, come up onto the right hand, lift yourself slightly and start to draw the right foot back in towards yourself. Reach back with the left hand and draw the right foot in towards the glutes. As you do that, you'll probably feel a big stretch into the front of the right quads. What I want you to do now is I want you to press that right foot like you're kicking the right foot into the left hand, activating that right quad for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Draw the foot in a little further. Can you go a little bit deeper? Maybe you're getting it even closer towards the glutes. Wherever you're at, come to the point that's your maximum stretch that you can get. And I want you to press the foot into the hand once more for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, can you draw it in maybe a centimeter, maybe a millimeter? Notice how that activation actually gets you a little bit further into the stretch, into this lizard twist. When you're ready, we're going to unwind the twist. So we're going to push back. We're going to come into a half splits once more and hold. Keep the back nice and straight. Reach the toes for your lovely nose. And just breathe. Again, drive that heel into the mat. That activation of the back line of the body, that's what's going to get you more opening instead of just coming into a passive stretch and finding your normal end range. When you're ready, we're going to shift up and we're going to come back into a runner's lunge. So lift up onto those back toes. Your left foot is in between the hands. And from your runner's lunge, we're going to transfer from runner's lunge into pyramid pose. So the back leg is straight, but we start to straighten out the left knee and allow the front body to drape over the left leg. So it's a little variation on a pyramid pose, a much wider stance in your pyramid. And then let's come back, dipping back into our runner's lunge. Go ahead and straighten that front leg. Drape the torso over the front leg. Come back into runner's lunge. Once more, drape and hold over your pyramid pose. When you're ready, we're going to transfer back into runner's lunge just for a moment. We're going to step the right foot in, coming into a halfway's left. And from here, the hands are going to come about 8 to 10 inches in front of the feet. We're going to transfer the weight of our body into the left foot and start to curl the right foot in and drag it in towards the glutes. From here, allow the head to dip down. And we're going to push that right heel up to the sky for standing splits. From your standing splits, we're going to move again by drawing the right knee in, bringing the right knee to the chest and the heel to the glutes. Let's push that foot back up to the sky, standing splits. Draw the knee in, heel to the glutes. Push back up for 1. Come back in. Pushing up for 2. Draw it in. Pushing up for 3. Draw it in. Pushing up for 4. Draw it in. Last one, we're going to push it up to the sky and hold here in our standing splits. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly and softly lower that back foot to the mat, coming back to our runner's lunge. Let's lower the back right knee down to the earth And then from here, we're going to place the hands again onto the back of that left thigh. And we're going to prepare for our splits on this side. You do not need to come down very low. You can grab a block or two. Have them on either side as you lower. Start to walk the back knee out. Start to straighten the front knee. This could be as far as you come today. Maybe you come a little bit lower. Maybe to start the practice, maybe you place a block underneath your thigh. Wherever you're at in your splits for this practice, I encourage you to keep the torso tall instead of leaning forward over that front leg. Staying tall will keep a greater stretch into the hips. You can really feel it into the front of this right hip and also into the back of this left leg as well. We're going to hold here for about 20 more seconds. Whatever level you're at. To come out of your splits. If you have blocks or you're using the floor beside you, press firmly into the blocks, lift yourself up. Start to draw that front leg in, and then maybe draw the back knee in as well. I'm going to set my props back over to the side and out of the way just for now, and then come into a tabletop. You can go ahead and push back and do a child's pose, maybe rock back and forth. Whatever you need, wherever you need to take yourself for this practice. And then we're going to move on to the opposite side. So let's tuck the toes, come into a downward facing dog. We have been here before. We're going to inhale the right foot up to the sky. And then draw the right knee into the chest, rounding, coming forward into a version of plank, knee to chest. Let's push back, lift that right foot up, and then draw the right knee in. Lifting it up to the sky, drawing it in. Once more, let's lift it up. This time we draw it in and bring the knee all the way through. Coming to start with our runner's lunge. Let's go ahead and just start to tease some mobility out of those right and left hips. Now we're feeling it into the front of that left hip. And when you're ready, we're going to softly land that back knee onto the mat. And then take the hands and press them onto the top of that right thigh. Holding here, taking a chance for our hips to feel nice and heavy. Breathe into it and relax. When you're ready, we're going to bring the hands back down to the outside of that left foot. Shift the weight back and start to adjust so that your left hip comes above the right knee, and then start to point those right toes up towards the sky, pulling them back towards your nose. Again, drive the right heel into the mat. Feel the back of that left leg really light up. I'm taking a few accommodations for my left knee, as it still does not enjoy having a lot of weight on it. You may notice I have a little extra pad on my mats, but you may notice that I try to keep my knee lifted sometimes. From our half splits, we're going to shift forward. And just for a moment, we're going to come into a runner's lunge. And we're going to take those transitions from runner's lunge into our half splits. So shifting forward and back. Draw the toes back. Shift forward and back. Forward and back once more. Forward. On this last one, let's hold. for a few seconds again in our half splits. Half splits are such a great posture to repeat if splits are your goal. It's a really great movement to really feel into the back of the leg. Keeping a micro bend in the knee can really change where you feel the stretch into this leg. And again, feeling like you want to keep the back straight, almost like you're trying to arch the low back, which is almost impossible for most of us in this pose. But it's just that intention. How are we moving the body? When you're ready, we're going to shift forward, and then we're going to start to walk that right foot to the outside of the right hand, coming into our lizard on this side. For your lizard lunge, of course, you can stay up on the hands, or you can lower all the way down onto the forearms. These deep hip openers require steady and consistent breathing, and also you should focus on relaxing other parts of your body so that your hips can release. Sending that little mental message to your brain that it's like, hey, it's okay to relax. We can let go. We are safe. We are moving in a safe manner. And then when you're ready, you can start to turn out into the outside edge of that right foot. Maybe take the right hand to the inside of that right inner thigh. Give it a little push. If you were lowered all the way down onto your forearms, we're going to come up onto our hands so we can go for that foot grab. So keeping that turnout onto the outside of that outer edge of the right foot, and we're going to begin to bend the left foot in. Take a grab for that left foot with your right hand, activating into that the left quad again by kicking that left foot into your right hand. Feel the whole front from your front of your right hip all the way down the quad to the top of the knee activates. And then when you're ready, maybe draw the left foot in a little closer. I'm a lot tighter on this side due to knee issues. If you have your own knee issues, use your own awareness of your body and your limitations. Only go as far as you can take it. Let's go ahead and press once more. Push, kick that foot into the right hand. Maybe draw the foot in a little bit more closely. Push once more. And then draw it in. When you're ready, we're going to release that back foot. We're going to come and move the right foot towards the center of the mat, tuck the back toes, and come into our runner's lunge on the right side. So now the back heel is lifted. We're going to take the runner's lunge to pyramid pose, our extra long pyramid pose, by straightening the right knee, keeping the back leg straight, and drawing the torso over the front of the right leg. Let's go ahead and bend once more into the right knee. Lift the chest just slightly so that we're not falling onto that right upper thigh. And then bend and straighten into your pyramid pose. Bend, shift forward, runner's lunge. Straighten, pyramid pose. Let's hold here for a beat. Take a nice couple of breaths. Feel the back spine lengthen. Draw the right hip back. And when you're ready, we're going to come back into our runner's lunge. Step that left foot in. Coming into a half waist lift, again at the top of our mat. From our half lift, we're going to shift our weight now over onto the right side, putting all the weight into the right foot. Hands are about 8 to 10 inches in front of the foot. And then draw the left foot in. Draw the knee into the chest and the left heel into the glutes. From here, we're going to kick that left foot all the way up to the sky. Allow the head to hang down. And then we come into standing splits. Draw the left knee into chest, heel towards the glute. Draw the abs and the core in. Kick it up for 2. Draw it in. Kicking it up for 3. Draw it in. Kick it up for 4. Draw it in. And reach it up for 5, and we'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful. Let's slowly start to set that left foot back, coming into our runner's lunge. And then from here, we're going to shift down, coming into our Anjaneyasana. Hands can come back to that right thigh, sinking into the hips once more, preparing for our splits on the opposite side. Don't worry, each side is usually very different. So you may need 1 block. You may need 2 blocks. You may come all the way to the floor. Who knows? We're going to shift back, start to push the back leg back further, walking it out. Perhaps starting with 1 block underneath that right thigh and holding here. We're going to take our time here, about 20 to 30 seconds in our hold. Again, staying up nice and straight in the torso. Be very proud of however far along you are in your splits journey. The hamstrings are notorious for being difficult to lengthen just because of how our day-to-day lives are. If you feel like you can come in any lower into your splits, maybe adjust the blocks, maybe come all the way onto the floor, wherever you're at. Again, this is 10 minutes, so it can take running through this class a few times, although we're probably at about the 15-minute mark here. And then when you're ready, you can stay in your splits, you can keep playing, but if you are coming out, press firmly so you can lift the hips, start to draw the legs in. I'm going to move my blocks out of my way. And then you can come back to kneeling or push back into a downward facing dog, whatever feels good for you to recover from that really deep hip opener. And that is it for our super splits. Going to get right into it and really make things happen in this challenge. It doesn't take much, just a little effort every day to improve your body and to improve your mind. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe, for we are about halfway through our month-long challenge for our January 10-minute fitness routine. As always, have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye.